Hi, I'm Maya, and this is the channel Book from Dreams. Welcome to a new video. Today, I'm going to talk about my HRCYED update. So we're going to talk about the months of January and February. In those 2 months, I read 13 books. I read more, but 13 books were for the HRCYED challenge. I managed to fulfill only one prompt, but I made headway on several others. So for all of you who don't know, HRCYED is a year-long reading challenge. It is the acronym for the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, and it is a reading challenge designed to be very, very difficult to fulfill. And each place on the bingo card, as you can see here, is a reading challenge of its own. That's why it's very difficult. I've made several updates for this year's reading challenge, so please do check out my HRCYED playlist down below. And let's just get into my update. Okay, so the title page. Then here is the bingo board. So the new prompt I've managed to fulfill is spooky creatures. Still nowhere near close to bingo. All right, so here are some stats. Here is the tracker. The points. And let's go into the... Okay, so there are some changes in the by the hundreds prompt. I have added in the 200s the new Ilona Andrews novella Beast Business. It wasn't the book that's originally for this place in the prompt, but it doesn't matter. I'm just now panically filling up places wherever I can. I also filled in the 300 part of this challenge by reading Tanya Radman's Republika Smrtnika. This is book 2 in her Lex Legis series, which is a fantasy series. Gotta say, the second book is better than the first one. Also, loved Beast Business. It's awesome. I already fulfilled the 24 readathon. It happened in like the first couple of months of me reading this. Subgenre of choice. Did I add something here? I don't think so. No, not really. The series staircase. So I have added 2 books in my quadrology, or 4 books or more. I read James S. A. Corey's Nemesis Games and Babylon Ashes. These are books 5 and 6 in the Leviathan Wakes. The Expanse series. There are space opera, sci-fi military books in which we follow Holden and the crew of the Rocinante, which is a spaceship. And they live in a world where humans have moved all around. Well, not all around. They colonized Mars. They have something on the moon, probably. I don't remember right now. But in the first book, they have discovered an alien life form, and which caused them a lot of trouble in the first couple of books. But now books like 5 and 6 dealt more with like the political situation in those books in that world between all the different people. So I'm hoping we will soon get into more alien stuff. For award season, I think I mentioned last time that I read Murder at Spindle Manor, and I thought it was just fine. Already talked about the TBR Game Challenge. And now the last 10 years. Most of my February reading was focused on doing the last 10 years prompt. So as you already see, I read James Nemesis Games and Babylon Ashes. I also read Cameron Hurley's The Light Brigade, which is a really cool dystopian sci-fi book. A bit confusing because we follow a character who is basically, he volunteered himself to be in the war. And you're not really sure who is... the propaganda says that the war is against the Martians. So there were people who colonized Mars, and then they came back to Earth to help like terraform, or at least work on some climate, an area that was devastated by the climate change and all the catastrophes that are happening. And so they did that, and now there's a story like that they attacked and destroyed like entire towns. So we follow a character who is like part of the... let's call them Space Marines or whatnot, and when they have this thing where they can turn into light to move places. But our character we follow, when he turns into light, he doesn't really end where he's supposed to end. So the whole thing is a bit confusing because he's jumping from past, future, present. And it is a bit confusing, but when you like get into it, it's a fun read. I read Remote Control before. I did finish How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu, I think. And I really loved that story. I really loved that book. If it weren't for the horrible conditions in which the story is happening, the plot is happening, it would really work well as a cozy fantasy, cozy sci-fi, because it was beautifully written, and I think it's a debut novel, and so well done. I'm definitely looking forward to reading anything else by this author. I've talked about Martha Wells' System Collapse before, and Service Model, and I have to just mention Atomic Noodle by Annalee Newitz. It's a novella in which we follow a bunch of robots from a war that basically don't have a purpose anymore, and they decide to open a noodle shop, a restaurant, and stuff happens from there. It was a fun read. Adaptations I talked about before. Disability, I think I've mentioned it in the last update. Afterglow, I had Afterglow here by Emily Antoinette. It's a romance book between a vampire and a human. In Heritage Months, I added Republika Smrtnika for Women's History. Basically, for that, you had to read a book written by a woman, and that's what I did. Translation Challenge, I'm not doing well on. Around the World, I added Automatic Noodle for North America because the novel takes place in, I think, San Francisco, but California, definitely California. I remember that. The Even Bigger Rainbow, there are no changes here from the last time. Make a Quote, I added, 2 words. So in for How High We Go in the Dark, and the for that, I put The Law by Jim Butcher. This is novella that happens between this new book that came out 12 months and what was the last one? Battleground. So these are all books in the Harry Dresden series. Now, I wanted to read The Law before I read the new book, the 12 months, because I haven't read any Harry Dresden since the last book was published, and that was like 5 years ago. So I wanted to read The Law to get back into the world. And while reading The Law, I was like, I have no idea what is happening. I mean, I know the basics, but I kind of lost the plot as to who is who and how fucking Marcone is now part of the Unseelie Courts. So I have to reread at least the last arc to familiarize myself with the thing. So that's why I read The Law. That's why it's here. Spooky Creatures I talked about before, and I finished everything. So Spooky Creatures is one of the prompts, the only prompt I finished in the last 2 months. And I did that by, what did I add last? So Whispers in the Deep for Merperson. Basically, since I read something for Merfolk, and that would be Whispers of the Deep by Emma Hamm. I also read that book for the Loteria, however you say that, challenge. And yeah, I finished it. So yay me, 1 prompt less. For Become the Avatar, nothing has changed. Readathon challenge I did last year. Animals I finished before. Queer Alphabet I added nothing new, I think. And Favorite Herkit prompt I did before. I think that was the first thing I did. And a BIPOC challenge. Nothing has changed since last time. New releases. So yeah, I read for January. I read Ilona Andrews' Beast Business. We follow August Montgomery and Diane Harrison, the side characters in the Hidden Legacy series, and they go on an adventure by themselves, and stuff happens. It's Ilona Andrews. I loved it, so it was great. And for February, I read Matt Didman's Operation Bounce House, which is also a dystopian science fiction. Read a lot of dystopian science fiction last month, in which we follow a character who lives in a colonized world somewhere in space, and basically his world has been designated as let's turn this into a video game territory. Basically, a company is selling mechanized robots that people can buy and control, and they were basically sent to this planet to hunt terrorists, and the planet is filled with farmers, and we follow our characters as they are trying to survive this event with the help of some AI. It was a fun read. And for Challenge Yourself, so I added a couple of things since last time. So I basically did I'm panicking now, thinking that I don't have enough time to finish this. For my Challenge Yourself, I have to read the Reddit Fantasy Bingo Reading Challenge that I set for myself last year, and I have till the end of this month to finish it. And I added 4 things, I think, since last we spoke. I think I've mentioned Murder in Spindle Manor last time, but since then I've read Howl's Moving Castle, by Diana Wynne James, I believe is her name. Wayne Jones, sorry. And I really, really liked it. I watched the movie after that. I liked the book better. Then James S. A. Corey's Nemesis games I read for the prompt, I believe, parent protagonist. And I added Feybound. I read Feybound previously, but I could add it here for the LGBTQ prompt because one of our main characters is a lesbian. And I read Howl's Moving Castle for, I think the prompt was a book in the 80s or something like that. So yeah, I have, according to this, 6 more things to read. So hopefully I will be doing that soon. Nonfiction I've finished before, and Q's recs and Q's recommendations. I basically added, I changed around a few things and added Chuck Tingle's Bury Your Gaze for the YouTube short, TikTok, Instagram reel thing. And yeah, that is it. Okay, so I'm doing okay. I think it's obvious I'm not going to be able to finish everything. I do just want to have at least 3 bingos. If that could be a goal for me to have 3 bingos, so 5 in a row, so either vertically, horizontally, or however you call that. As I mentioned, I think March I will be focusing mostly on finishing the Reddit Fantasy Bingo Challenge, which is my challenge yourself part of this HRCYED challenge. And yeah, we'll see what happens in the next couple of months. Wish me luck with good books and fun reading. If you're participating in this reading challenge and you want to share your thoughts and your progress, please do so down below in the comments. If you haven't already, please subscribe and like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!